Why do you think that Kenya will lose the AU seat? Why?
We know that Baba just the other day was endorsed by about 5 presidents already to be the designate AU chairperson, na ndio ameanza campaign, but there is a candidate there. Tunajua Mauritius, Madagascar, they have their candidates, but Djibouti, that is the one that we should have our eyes on.
What? Why?
The factor of rotational basis, that it was supposed to be a rotational basis for the Eastern African region, and that Djibouti was supposed to be the time of Djibouti to sit on that seat.
Which country is supporting Djibouti? Mostly that have influence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello guys, welcome to yet another great session today that we're having here. And today, Jeff, we want to speak about the role that we have between Djibouti and Kenya in terms of diplomacy. We know that Baba just the other day was endorsed by about 5 presidents already to be the designate AU chairperson, na ndio ameanza campaign, but there is a candidate there. Tunajua Mauritius, Madagascar, they have their candidates, but Djibouti, that is the one that we should have our eyes on.
What? Why?
Because, and I want us to go back to 2020, in what happened in 2020. Right in 2020, at the height of the COVID, Kenya wanted to be part of the UNSC. It wanted to participate in the UNSC. Najua Kenya ilikuwa in the UNSC around 1977 to 1978, tena around 1997 to 1998. But Djibouti only was in the UNSC at least once in 1993 to 1994. So when it was the time for the East Africans also to have their own designated member at the UNSC, what happens is the AU has a resolution. It's called a resolution, the resolution to happen in 2007. This resolution said that for unity, for the purpose of unity, AU, or the African Union, will within itself come up with 3 members that will be pushed to the AU, to the UNSC. The UNSC is the United Nations Security Council, and this is the topmost organ of the United Nations. Ndio ile huwa inaangalia mambo ya vita around the world, what is happening, maybe tuseme in Russia versus Ukraine. They vote on what should happen or what sanctions should be held or what statement the UN will come up with. So in all wars, in all very critical matters, the UNSC is involved. And this UNSC has 5 members and other 10 members, 5 permanent and non-permanent members. The 5 permanent, the likes of US, France, China, and Russia, India, and the UK, these are the 5 permanent members of the UNSC. Then you have 10 non-permanent members. So in these 10 non-permanent members, there always is a position for 3 African nations. So what happens is these Africans or these countries are given a priority in Africa because the AU will come up with the number of countries, the 3 number of countries, then they will just, within itself, AU will make sure that presidents or nations in African states vote so that they can just take the 3 without going to the United Nations General Assembly to be voted by countries across the world. So if AU presents 3, hawatapita, hawataingia UNSC. So but what happened in 2020 is that in the East Africa region, because nafaa kutoa mtu mmoja, Kenya aimed for it. At that time we had President Uhuru. And Djibouti also went up for it. They say that we also want to contest for this UNSC position. So there was a diplomatic row there because we have 2 nations from the Eastern Africa region that want to be part of the UNSC. So what happened is they had to go for the AU vote, for the AU to have its designated candidate. Yeah. Of course, Kenya won. Kenya beat Djibouti on that. But what was surprising is that Djibouti did not relent. They said that we will not agree to what has happened in the AU. and that we are pushing this to the next level. That yes, the AU might have chosen Kenya, but we are not party to that decision. They said that there are two factors that have been written by the AU that supported the quest for Djibouti to be part of the UNSC at that time. They say that there is the factor of rotational basis, that it was supposed to be a rotational basis for the Eastern African region, and that Djibouti was supposed to be the time of Djibouti to sit, and that's it. That was one. Second, they say that there was the factor of frequency, that if one country has gone twice, it should not go again if another country has not gone twice as well. Yeah. So frequency, Kenya had more frequent representation at the UNSC compared to Djibouti. So they said Kenya has gone twice already. It is time for Djibouti, that has only gone once, to also go twice. They had that reason. They said, for that reason, we are not taking this answer and we're taking it forward to the UN General Assembly. Yeah. Let us go and be voted there. So it was surprising because since the 2007 resolution, no country has ever done what Djibouti did, that took Kenya to the UN General Assembly to be voted. So at that time, when they went to the UN General Assembly, in fact, another surprise hit us, that no country between the two in the first vote got more than 2/3 of the votes across the country. Of course, Kenya was above Djibouti, but in the first round, no country got more than 2/3 of the votes, because you need 2/3. And they had to go for a second round. And in the second round, now Kenya won. Yeah. But it was a very,
the chairman that time
of
AU that won in Kenya.
The chairman of AU at that time was still Musafaki, because Musafaki has gone for 2 terms. And it was not something very, very conspicuous, because at that time, the AU had already said our designator is Kenya. But Djibouti took on its own path to try and go against the AU. And when all that happened, a lot of questions were asked. Why did Djibouti take that path? What led to the misunderstanding among Eastern African nations that we had to have 2 contestants that did not want to relent. Yeah, one contestant would have just said, okay, you just go, okay? But Djibouti did not want to leave Kenya alone and had to go up to the UN General Assembly to a second vote so that Kenya will win. So when we think about what happened in 2020, we now have to put that just the same or draw some similarities to what is happening right now. Kenya and Djibouti have their own candidates that are taking to across Africa to try and lobby for their support to get to the AU chairmanship. And what happened in 2020, I think, is something that is still very fresh in Djibouti, because they didn't like it. They
have decided to bring up their candidate.
And something very interesting also is that at that time, the Minister of Foreign Affairs was still the one that is being fronted today. Yeah. So he still has that grudge with Kenya, that Kenya denied us to be at the UNSC. And now we are meeting with Kenya again in another diplomatic contest. Yeah. And this time they are saying, of course, they have to win. Yeah. Kenya won the other time, but this time they are saying they have to win. Mohamed Yusuf is the Minister of Foreign Affairs for Djibouti, and is the one that is being fronted by Djibouti to be the AU chairman.
Why do you think that Kenya will lose the AU seat? Why? Do you think that Raila Amolo Odinga is going to win, or what will really happen?
I think Raila Amolo Odinga has a very good chance of winning, but we have to put it also and look at the realities on the ground. Mohamed Yusuf also has a very good chance and can put up a very strong fight against Raila Odinga. Because if you look at that history that I've just given from 2020, you'll just find that most countries did not also feel right for Kenya to take over the UNSC against Djibouti. They must try to correct that, and say that, okay, Djibouti can tell them, okay, last time, maybe you just didn't look at this, but this time, how about you just focus on us? Because last time, maybe let bygones be bygones, and we have a fresh new mandate here. That is one. Also, if you look at the alignments in Africa, it is very surprising because sometimes people can align in terms of the languages they speak, Francophony, Anglophony, Lusophony. And then if you have such an alignment, it will go to the benefit of the Djiboutian candidate, because there are a lot of French-speaking nations in Africa.
How many countries do you think we have in Africa? And you know very well that the East African countries, they have already supported Baba.
Yes.
So, which country is supporting Djibouti? Mostly that have influence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ethiopia, that is one. That one is given. Kenyans, I'm sure Kenya does not even focus on Ethiopia.
Yeah. Even Ethiopia, I can say that Eritrea
will, surprising, I'm coming there. that one will shock you.
Yeah.
Ethiopia, in that 2020 election that happened, I think we can take those votes and try to see what these other countries may vote. Of course, subject to different. It's a long time to February. But if you look at what happened in 2020, Ethiopia, Somalia, and Sudan voted for Djibouti. Now you can ask yourself, why wasn't the president of Somalia in Kenya just the other day? Might it be the reason that Somalia will try and support Djibouti once again, because Somalia also borders Djibouti? Yeah. So Somalia voted for Djibouti against Kenya at the UNSC in 2020. It is possible that Somalia will still vote for Djibouti.
And the president of Somalia was in Kenya.
Yes. He didn't come the other day when the endorsements were being done.
True.
But he has been coming to Kenya. That one is given. Another thing is that Ethiopia, our neighbor to the north, decided to vote Djibouti. Why? Their interests in Ethiopia. When you come to Ethiopia, you will understand that Ethiopia is a landlocked country. They don't have access with Eritrea. They don't have access. They are finding it hard to have an access with Somalia. To the time that they tried to have Somaliland broker a deal with them, but it didn't happen. So they depend on the ports of Djibouti so that their goods can come into the country. You understand now why Ethiopia will still vote Djibouti.
So this is the reason why Raila Amolo Odinga will lose the AU seat.
Another interesting country, Sudan. Sudan will always vote Djibouti. I think it's because of the Arab-speaking nature of the countries in the northern Africa and the Sahel regions. So that language-speaking Arab, French, they will align together and try and vote Djibouti. But something also very interesting is that there is a chance for Raila Odinga if he marshals the support of Southern Africa and some bit of Western Africa. Some very good allies are there, and they can support him or his bid towards the end. Eritrea, coming to Eritrea now. In 2020 UNSC, Eritrea surprised many because they voted for Kenya. Yet they border Djibouti. Yes. The reason is to the fact that
you haven't seen the president of Eritrea coming to Kenya the other day. So something might have happened.
The reason is Eritrea and Djibouti have a border issue with together. So that border issue makes Eritrea not to be very close to Djibouti, and will try to even support another candidate that is far away against Djibouti. So that is why Asmara decided to vote for Nairobi. Yeah. So it is likely that one will still stay. But
you mean that Ethiopia is going to support Djibouti?
Yes.
What if Raila Amolo Odinga wins and goes to Addis Ababa?
Raila,
and you know very well that Addis Ababa it is in Ethiopia.
Raila has been a champion of saying that people who didn't vote for you should still be in government. So I think He'll apply that one there.
Eh?
But it will be interesting, and it will be in public who voted for who, and which government decided to support which. Something very interesting is that we are seeing that alignment in Africa where blocs are supporting each other.
True.
And it was very, very important for the EAC to support Raila Odinga. If the EAC could not have supported Raila Odinga, then there will be a problem. There will be a problem. Countries that we should watch again, I'll repeat, DRC, very important, because we left DRC just last year after they say that our men in uniform, the KDF, are not helping them. So it will be very interesting to see what DRC
And even
will do.
the president of DRC didn't come to that launch.
Did come, and yet they say that they are in EAC.
There are people. There are so many people here in Kenya.
Yet they also say that they are in East African community. They didn't even send a representative. That tells you a lot. You know, it's better for Kagame, it's better for Evariste, Burundi and Rwanda. They sent their representatives and they read their statement. But DRC did not even send a
Let's
representative.
watch out.
Let us wait for it.
I believe that Raila Amolo Odinga is going to win because of the influence that he has towards the whole Africa.
Yes.
You see that the influence that he has towards the other president.
Yes.
Comparing Raila Amolo Odinga and Amina Mohammed the previous day that he became, I think, number 52. This time, Kenya is going to clinch this AU seat. That is my opinion.
Yes.
And
my opinion is that, yes, Raila Odinga might win, but it will take him a lot of power, a lot of convincing for these countries to support Kenya at this time, because the ground is not that easy. If he dare slips, it will slip in his hands.
And there are some people that are saying that Raila Amolo Odinga was cast by his father. So if Raila Amolo, they are saying that Raila Amolo Odinga cannot become a national leader of anything. That is the reason why attack your party.
Those are propagandists. Those are propagandists.
So let's wait and see if Raila Amolo Odinga is going to clinch this seat, because it's a big seat in the whole of Africa.
It is.
Even more than the president.
Yes. Well, wait.
Yeah.
He doesn't command any army, so the president is still...
Until next time, game over.